being abnormally honest. It is normal to be unhappy. Most people are. It is normal to discover that life doesn't live up to its billing. It is normal to be disappointed, but getting along and doing the best you can. It's not normal to be honest. What is normal is to be concerned foremost with having a good cover story. Normal people are concerned with figuring out the right thing to say that puts them in the best light. They want to live up to their own best guess about what the people they are talking to want to hear. An honest person, in contrast, focuses on saying what is so. Getting back to honesty rescues people from being normal. Sanity is getting back to basic, funky, hometown reality, down from the clouds of good cover stories. What passes for sanity is an agreed-upon form of insanity, which is an attempt to make life work out by legislating ideals and imposing values in our own minds and selling them to other minds. It is normal to be insane. Being sane is abnormal. Abnormal, sane, honest people are less worried and more free than normal people. They are, however, less secure. This feeling of being less secure is something you have to get used to. In the beginning, it's a burden. Then it becomes a possibility, a possible choice of a way to live, a choice made on purpose. Then it becomes an opportunity for creation. Learning to love insecurity. The person who learns to tell the truth is the most free, most alive kind of adult human being you'll ever see, but is more insecure than normal. The insecurity comes from having fewer beliefs to rely on for security. Although beliefs don't really provide security, they provide an insulation against the world, and one feels afraid but protected. Normally, we continue to anticipate catastrophe, to justify the protection of our belief systems, and to provide a sense of safety. By predicting and guarding against all negative future outcomes, our minds do the best they can to protect us from the unpleasant uncertainty of freedom. Making unpleasant uncertainty pleasant is like learning to enjoy being scared on a roller coaster or to enjoy horror movies. The unpleasant uncertainty takes some time to get used to, but eventually becomes tolerable and even exciting. Just like the fun of scaring yourself on a roller coaster ride, you learn to like the excitement of mild, ongoing risk-taking. This, of course, can become another racket, another act of bravado or attempt to be eccentric and unusual and shocking just to hide fear. But you can also deliberately accustom yourself to uncertainty as a way of life. That paradoxical state, comfortable uncertainty, is a prerequisite for a creative, fulfilling life. Growing and sharing rather than stagnation occur in a context of uncertainty. The liar in you and me is a minefield of catastrophic expectations and hope and hype. The truth teller in you and me is one of whom E. E. Cummings says, "We are human beings for whom birth is an extremely welcome mystery, the mystery of growing, the mystery which happens only and whenever we are faithful to ourselves. You and I wear the dangerous looseness of doom and find it becoming. Life for eternal us is now, and now is much too busy being a little more than everything to seem anything, catastrophic included." We have all had a few breakthroughs to the way of being E. E. Cummings describes, but they often scare us so badly we crawl back into our minds to escape. Usually, when we have a real breakthrough, when we get saved or see the light or get born again, we don't stay in that new state for long. We retreat. These short breakthrough events are usually preceded by owning up to the truth and disowning previous pretense. We all love that heightened experience and that sense of breathing free, but we can't stand it for long. So usually, after we have a breakthrough and escape the mind jail, we quickly build ourselves another nest of beliefs to keep from going out of control. Sometimes we use for building materials our prating words about freedom. Thus, today's liberating insight becomes tomorrow's jail. The truth is immediate and changes with the moment. The most real truth is temporary and passing. Usually by the time the real truth gets pointed to with words or a finger, it is gone or changed. This ever-changing truth is the truth of experience. Evaluations of the truth of experience are all bullshit. Some bullshit is useful, but not nearly as useful as most of us think. Evaluations are never the truth, although a person may tell the truth about his evaluations, and in fact must do so if he is to own them rather than be jailed by them. We all tend to get lost in the swamp of our evaluative minds, trying to make decisions and figure out how to behave and what to do next, while constantly considering what we imagine others might imagine about us as a result of any action we anticipate taking. This concern about controlling the opinions of others and keeping control of ourselves kills more people than any form of environmental stress. Even worse, most of those who don't die would scarcely know the difference if they did. We have a hard time, as minded beings, putting up with the nebulous, ever-passing truth, the truth of experience. We go for the hard rail of principle to keep from falling down the bumpy stairs of the real, temporary, ever-dying truth of experience. Even if the principles we rely on are principles of great despair, we would rather be certain than uncertain. We would rather be sure of a correctly predicted negative outcome than face the realistic uncertainty of an unpredictable future, even if it includes the possibility of great joy and success. People buy immeasurable loads of bullshit for the illusion of security. In individual cases, it is called being neurotic. In mass hysteria, like that exemplified by George W. Bush administration, it is called the war on terrorism. And the systematic use of scaring people and then doing whatever you want in the name of security becomes a kind of boilerplate art, which the masses and the media fall for every time. Mistaking repetition for accuracy, we live for years on end in a continuous bullshit machine created by right-wing nuts in the government and their PR agency, the corporate-controlled media, a sleeping giant in every sense of the word. Somehow, individually and collectively, we believe security comes from principles and from controlling other people. But that kind of security simply doesn't exist. The only security we have as individuals is in our ability to fly by the seat of our pants. The being within which the mind resides yearns for freedom. The mind resists freedom. Freedom is antithetical to the mind. The mind exists for survival. The mind was built to provide the illusion of security, certainty, prediction, and control. The mind has surpassed its function of physical survival to ensure the survival of the sea of suggestions it long ago decided it was. The mind is a bullshit machine. The main thing that can free a person from his or her own mind is telling the truth. Telling the truth is always interpreted by the mind as a threat to its security. When people think that who they are is their mind, they feel like they are committing suicide when they start telling the truth. It scares the hell out of them, and they want the feelings that arise to go away fast. And they are right. It is like committing suicide, in a way. What dies in telling the truth is the false self, the image projection we have presented to the world, and come to believe as a result of our own press releases. All real suicides, where people really died, were the result of a battle between being and mind. In those cases, the mind won.